One of the first books I read on my YouTube channel and on Instagram. Oh. One of the first books I read on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram was My Coofie by author Adil Ismaaeel. Today, I'm going to interview him. Adil, what's going on? Assalamu alaikum.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you too. How's your day been?
It's been really good.
Alhamdulillah.
How you been?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
You too.
I'm in a good mood right now.
That's good. Oh, let me let us in.
Yes.
So let's get into your book.
Let's get into it. All right. My Coofie. You know what's interesting? I actually have a Spanish version of this too.
Really?
Yeah.
Not in Arabic.
Work on Arabic.
Hmm.
Yeah, work on Arabic.
Are you fluent in both?
No, I'm not fluent in either.
Why did I think? I thought you spoke Arabic.
My sisters do.
That's
Joshua
why.
does. You may ask,
Oh, okay.
but not I.
Why?
Just growing up in America, you don't need Arabic.
Oh, they grew up.
Yeah, they grew up there.
Oh,
Yeah. So
gotcha.
yeah, we got a Me Coofie coming out.
That's cute.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's
That's
gonna be
cute.
super lit
Yeah.
because we're gonna be able to reach all the Muslims in Spain and Dominican
I
Republic.
want to go to Spain.
Say it again.
All right, let's not make this video
All
about
right.
me. All right, Adil, what was the inspiration behind My Coofie?
Ooh, this is interesting. And I'll tell you, because the inspiration behind My Coofie has shifted.
Okay.
Okay, so what inspired me to write the book is so different from what it is now. It was so different, so interesting. So what inspired me to write My Coofie was my own personal journey to identify myself as a Muslim, right? And I found a kufi that I liked. This kufi here was kufi that's like this, and I started rocking it every day after a certain outfit I wore, and it was a really fun outfit. My most popular, or my picture had the most likes on Instagram, and it was just lit, right? But I didn't have a kufi on that picture. But it was a super dope outfit that led to a dope Eid outfit. And after that, I felt really comfortable wearing my kufi all the time. After I started wearing my kufi all the time, I just felt comfortable just identifying myself as a Muslim. And then that just kind of like led me into feeling this feeling of comfort and security within my own identity. And from there, I was like, I know that this feeling can benefit other people. And that's what's kind of like sparked my interest or sparked the desire or the idea to write the story. After I wrote the story and all the months, going through the process, it has become so much more than just the Islamic identity, but more so about just being with all the craziness that's happened inside the country, being a black man in America and what it looks like to be a victor inside your own story. Unfortunately, a lot of media and content that's out there for young boys, black boys, I'm not gonna say out there for them because there's not much content out there for them. When they are present inside of a story, they are usually support or just, the antagonist inside of a story, or protagonist, whatever you call it. But they're never like the victor in the reason why the story is taking place. And My Coofie, and the way I wrote it, Jaish, the main character, becomes the focus of the story, and he becomes the victor at the end of the story, which is so important for our own mental health and how we view ourselves, knowing that we can be the victor, that we can be, the reason why something's happened. So yeah, other than a bad thing, so yeah.
Who is Jaish based on?
Okay, so
Is that you as a child?
yeah, so
okay.
Jaish is basically my journey, is like me as an individual all through my life in a way. Let's see, how can I say this? Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just me as an individual growing up from when I was a young guy, enjoying wearing my kufi, having kufis or clothing, assignment clothing my parents gave me that I had to wear for school, and just what they gave me to wear. And then me growing out of that and kind of like growing into my own individual and seeing life from a different perspective and wanting to identify myself and have my own identity. And yeah, so that whole character's concept is based off of that whole journey. Now Jaish, the character, is my son Jaish. He looks just like me. So he looks the most like me. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use him as a model for my illustrator. It's easier just to use him. And then I was like, well, if I'm gonna use him for the image, for the model, I might as well use his name as well. So I was like, so that's how his name and his character came about. But the concept and the whole story behind the character is my journey. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of people are like, is that Jaish? I'm like, yes, it's Jaish, but it's me.
And does your son wear a kufi?
How
old is he?
He is 6 now.
Oh, okay.
He likes to wear a kufi sometimes, but he's going through his own little journey. I'm not, it's not a requirement, so I'm not gonna force him to. But ever since we had the book, he wears his kufis more. Like before, he was like, I don't want to wear a kufi, but I also didn't wear a kufi myself.
Right. Yeah.
So, but now he doesn't mind wearing his kufi now. Like he'll gladly wear his kufi.
I was gonna ask you, how did he like the book?
Oh, he loves the book. Yeah, he loves the book. He loves that it's him inside the book. Who wouldn't love it?
Right.
And he's just that kind of person. He's like, he loves praise. So we got to work on that. But he loves praise. So he loves that attention. So that's probably a better thing to say. He loves that attention. And so the book being like him and his kind of character and looks like him, he's like, yeah, that's me. But then like Lath also loves the book and thinks it's him too. So, but he's like, that's me. That's me and Daddy. And I'm like, yeah, that's you. Yep, that sure is you.
So can you tell us a little bit about the illustrations? Talk about the illustrator and the illustrations, because in the book the characters don't have eyes.
Yep.
And
no eyes.
Yeah, I mean, we know.
Right.
But for other readers who aren't familiar with why.
Right. So what's interesting about this is the reason why we don't have eyes is connected to our religion, but it's also because of our illustrator as well. Yaqeen Abdullah had a super dope illustrator, super dope artist. Yaqeen Abdullah, she's our illustrator, she's a dope artist. It was her first book, and she did this. So when I came to her and asked her, she was like, "Well, I can't complete the images." Like, she was like, "If I do the job, I'm gonna have to do it without I can do it in a really unique way that'll be like really dope. You'll be able to still get the expressions, and you still be able to get everything, but I'm not gonna put eyes in there." And I was like, but then I was like, you know what? You're right. Because it's better to safeguard ourselves.
Right.
And safeguard our hereafter. Like, I don't want to, on Day of Judgment, I don't want that to be a reason why.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't get the mercy of Allah. So I was like, you know what? Especially when it's like, it's going to impact so many people's lives. Yeah. When I'm not encouraging anybody to commit any sins, but like if you commit a sin and it's just yourself, that's different.
Right.
But if you're like committing a sin that's impacting other people and other people are going to get their hands on it, then you have to deal with that. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and you're right. Go ahead and do it without eyes, and it's super dope because, when you look at a lot of children's, books and children's literature and content, they be having characters that are super scary. They got 3 horns and 3 heads and 10 eyes, and it looks crazy. You're like what in the world? Like, how am I supposed to look at this? If I saw this in person, I would be like deathly afraid of it. But in children's theater, it's perfectly fine to do something like that. So
I think it's decent that both of you have the control to say what you want in your book.
Absolutely.
Or how you're going to do it. So,
Absolutely.
like, that's the beauty
Yeah.
of doing things on your own,
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
being self-sufficient.
Yep.
You don't have anybody else dictating to you
Right.
how to do your thing.
Right. Yeah.
And you don't have to compromise the
Absolutely.
religion. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That is the dope part about being self-published. Have full control over it. And even now, I still have full control over it. Love it. So, my favorite part of the book. I mean, the whole book is my favorite part.
I really like it.
Yeah, the whole book
Like,
is
it
my
was an
favorite
easy read.
part. Yeah,
It's not hard to comprehend.
yeah.
Like, you can get an understanding of what the Kufi is without it being overly complicated.
Yeah. So, two of my favorite parts, and your question earlier, you asked what was my inspiration. One of my main inspirations for writing this book and like the whole concept around this book was how the book starts. Let's see. So I'll just read this whole section here. Yeah, I'll read this whole section. All right. You guys ready? Let's do it. So one day, Jace and his mother went to the store. He wandered down the toy aisle and saw a Muslim girl. Oh, look, Jace thought to himself. There's another Muslim. Jace hoped she'd speak, but she didn't notice him. She didn't even take a peek. Jace sadly returned to his mother and let out a big sigh. I just saw another Muslim, but she did not speak, and I don't know why. Well, how do you know that she is a Muslim? Was his mother's reply. She was wearing a khimar, a scarf covering her head like yours, he answered. Well, how would she know that you are a Muslim? What do you have on yours? Jace thought for a moment, puzzled. Wow, I guess I never thought of that. How can I be seen as a Muslim? His mother said, well, since you're a boy, you can wear a kufi instead of a hat. I have one for you at home. Remember that? So that's my favorite part of the story because it is, I feel like it's a dilemma that a lot of Muslims in a way go through, but then specifically Muslim men and the dilemma within the Muslim community where Muslim women proudly or not so proudly identify themselves as Muslims. You know, if they choose to follow the scripture, you know, and the commands, you know, they have to wear hijab. They have to observe some form of hijab. But Muslim men don't have an actual physical indicator that was commanded to basically, you know, show that they're Muslim. So you have this dilemma where Muslim men, especially inside the West, and a lot of times inside, you know, in the Muslim countries as well, where Muslim women are identifying themselves, but Muslim men are not identifying themselves. So there's this, like this, I don't even know what even to call it, but, you know, it's just that women are identifying themselves and men are not. And then, you know, men are judgmental because if a woman does not identify herself, and then like, what are you doing? Right. So Jace, you know, the character, he has this dilemma where, and even myself, where I would see a Muslim woman at one point, I would see a Muslim woman and, you know, I would say salam, maybe she didn't hear me, or I would say another Muslim just in general, and I would just give them salam, and they didn't hear me, and I was like, that's kind of like your fault because you didn't have anything to identify yourself that helped them identify you. Yeah. So the day earlier, I was inside of a store and I saw this brother with like a Moroccan jilbab on with a hoodie, and it was super dope. As soon as I saw him, I instantly knew that he was a Muslim. So I gave him salam. As soon as I was saying salam, he was giving me salams. So it was like dope where we kind of like both saw each other and we both identified each other. It was like a good feel moment where we were just like, salam alaikum. He said, I'm like, oh, salam. It was just like, just one of those moments where you just had that quick exchange where you both identify yourselves. And that was super dope. So we're both Muslims. We both have some form of physical indicator. Although we're not technically commanded to have a physical indicator, we're both able to identify ourselves inside of a place where we're in a country full of non-Muslims. So yeah, or people who are not Muslims. So it's super dope when you have that physical indicator to allow other Muslims to know that you are a Muslim. So Yeah,
it's a good feeling to give salams to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because even in the book, like
right.
Jasha's feelings are hurt when the salams are returned.
Exactly, and at the end of the book, you know, the young lady identifies him, and she's like, "Oh, assalamu alaikum." He's like, "Walaikum salam." He's like, "Oh shoot, she recognized me." Yeah. He started feeling himself like, "Okay, I see the perks of having a kufi on."
Right.
And that's basically like this. That's just like. That's how it actually feels in real life. When you know, when you're like I explained, like, you know, I have this encounter with this Muslim man, and we both identify with each other, and like, oh, that feels good. Like, oh, we both know that we're both Muslim, and you know, so it feels super dope. And I remember when I first started wearing this kufi, and Arabs never say salam to me. I was walking inside of a park, and this Arab brother just said "Assalamu alaikum" as loud as he could be to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is what happens."
They ain't got superpowers,
right? That's literally how it felt.
Giving you superpowers.
Like, it's giving you superpowers. I'm like, dang, I'm getting acknowledged now. Before I would scream "Assalamu alaikum" and no one would hear me. I was like, dang, y'all rude. Like, I know you heard me, but now people identify me and they give me salam. So,
and that's kind of maybe the opposite of, like, I would say my childhood. I don't know if every Muslim woman can identify with, you know, a lot of us were teased because of our hijab.
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, with certain things going on in the world, I don't want to say anything specific to trigger anybody, but, you know, certain things that go on in the world and we're wearing our hijab, we become
a target. Yeah.
So,
you know what's interesting about that, though? Since I've written the book and it's been out, a lot of parents have reached out to me because their kids are getting bullied in school because they wear a kufi or they wear a izar. And it becomes like kind of like
you kind of want to hide. It was what I was trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
It was like when you wear your kufi, you know, you want their identification as a Muslim.
Right.
But sometimes, you know, depending on what's going on or even your self-esteem, like you feel like you kind of want to hide and don't want to.
You don't want to get identified. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I don't know, like the hijab, the khimar versus the kufi, kind of.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like there were kids inside of school, and their parents reached out to me because they were getting bullied in school because they're wearing the izar. Yeah. And I can imagine inside, like even myself.
What is an izar?
An izar is a cloth that men use to wrap around their waist. An izar is not a. Oh, here we go. This is perfect. Yep, this is perfect. So if you were to wear an izar, you would have a cloth like this.
Maybe not as long, but you know.
But this would work. And you need a little roll space. Wrap it around. And then you roll it.
Okay, that's a nice one.
Yeah, this is
good.
I might have to wear this right here. I might have to wear this. But yeah, this is how you would wrap it. But an izar is to be wrapped, and it's not a drawstring or an elastic. If you wear elastic or a drawstring, I'm sorry, brother, you are wearing a skirt. And I don't mean to laugh at anything, but there's a big difference. There's a huge difference, and it's very important that we understand the difference. Because an izar is to be wrapped. So sometimes izars are connected in the middle, and you just slip it on, and then you go through the wrapping and roll it, or it's just a long scarf set up, and you kind of like wrap it and roll it. Okay. So yeah, it's very important. There's a difference.
So they were getting bullied.
So they're getting bullied in school because they had an izar on, and their kufi, like they're getting a kufi smacked off.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, and they felt really bad about it. So, unfortunately, because we were going to go to their school and actually go and present to their school the whole story and talk about, you know, the Islamic identity, but, you know, COVID kind of got in the way. That was right before COVID took place. So, but, you know, what's interesting about that is is the My Coofie story and the whole everything that has come behind it. You have this responsibility to like basically help youth navigate that space.
Yeah.
So that's honestly what we're going to do inside of our reading experiences. We have one coming up soon, but we're going to help them. We're going to go through different theater activities to help them identify how to navigate that type of experience.
Okay.
So inshallah, it'll be a benefit to the youth because it is a serious dilemma. Like even like myself, nobody was like making fun of me or anything like that, but they would
as a child, but they would like question me in a way that made me feel uncomfortable. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not sure if I want that pressure.
Yeah.
But you know, and that honestly led to me taking my Islamic clothing off or my Muslim clothing off. So you know, I feel like we all go through that process, and that's the reason why I feel like this story is so important for us to have and understand how to, because there's an element of having to stand up for yourself. Unless it puts you in literal physical danger,
right. There's
an element of having to stand up for yourself, because a lot of times people they just want to pick on somebody, or just want to have something to say. But it'd be better just to stand up for yourself and feel pride in who you are and your identity, because everything that's behind you is so dope. There's so much that the Muslims have contributed to the world that just makes it so dope to be a part of and to be proud of. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is one of the first. There are many books about hijab.
Yes.
But this is one of the first, maybe the first I've seen about a kufi.
Yeah, specifically about the kufi. Yeah.
And this is the first time I heard of anybody like smacking kufis off.
Yeah,
I know we used to get our kimars pulled off.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I heard some situations here in Philadelphia, and situations in Jersey and in North Carolina. So I had a number of parents reach out to me, and it was, That's why it's so important that we have things like this, that we can educate our youth, because you might feel good about it, but then next you know, somebody gonna come around and start messing with you and start bullying you.
Yeah.
And now you start to feel like, I don't know about it anymore. So
yeah, there's that hiding.
Yeah, exactly. Start hiding.
Again.
You know, like I said, I kind of went through that moment. Not went through that moment. I did go through that moment where I just took it off completely, because I'm like, I'm not required to wear it. I can just wear this, and you know, and I kind of shied away from it. But that's why it also felt good when I kind of re-embraced it. I was like, oh, this actually feels good, because I love being Muslim. I love being, you know, proud to be Muslim. But you know, how can I be proud to be Muslim and also face the scrutiny or the potential criticism that I might receive, or the nasty looks or the weird looks or the questioning? And because I did go through a lot of questioning at first, like, you know, now people are used to me seeing me inside of a kufi all the time, so they're like, oh yeah, he just got a kufi on. But I went, you know, at the beginning it was like, why are you wearing that? What are you wearing that thing on your head for?
Now, have you done any experiences or workshops or anything with non-Muslims?
I have not.
No?
That's actually a really good idea. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's a really good idea.
I'm full of them.
I see.
I'm full of ideas.
I see. I'm going to have to come with my notebook next time, inshallah. But that would actually be a really dope idea.
Yeah.
I've only been thinking about how do I reach the Muslim youth and help them feel comfortable. But that would be dope to help non-Muslims understand what it means and the reasoning behind it.
Especially now.
Yeah.
And especially because they're probably the ones doing the bullying.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I heard it was Muslims. Yo, some of the stories I heard, I was like, oh, what? I was like, subhanAllah.
Yeah.
Y'all just in here just bullying our young brother, and he's trying to be proud, like, astaghfirullah. But
now I feel like now is the time to educate.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's always been that time, but people want to be educated.
Absolutely.
They're more willing to learn about different cultures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
that's actually a really good idea. Now my brain is clicking like, all right.
Look, you smiling.
I'm like, how do I make this thing happen? Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, so we can talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Even my business counselor in that space. We're gonna write these notes down because what's interesting about that is the My Coofie brand is developing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've hired staff and now I'm like working to like really create this whole thing and developing cartoons and yeah, like it's becoming so much more than just a story now. Like now I have the workbook and I also have flashcards and puzzles and experiences. So I'm doing all these different things that help move the idea forward. So that is definitely another avenue. Definitely another avenue that we can explore. Yeah. We're gonna run on the corner tomorrow. That's like so. Let me before Basha try to give me a fee for this idea.
No, take that one. That one's free.
Oh, that one's free. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but this is something like I would read to my nanny kids.
Right.
Because I'm there every day.
Right.
And at the age of 2, I've already been asked, "What's this?
What is it?" Yeah.
So they're accepting of learning about different cultres, like their family.
Right.
So.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's important. You got to have the individuals. And you know what? Right before quarantine, when I had the opportunity to really connect with people, a lot of non-Muslims were really interested inside of the whole story. They're like, this is really interesting. And they wanted to come to the reading activities. They were like, can I come? And I'm like, sure, you can come. Of course you can. So, yeah, I want to definitely open that back up.
Do you remember when we used to invite non-Muslims to the masjid?
No. I mean, some meshes still do, but... Yeah,
but it used to be, like, open invitation to some people. Because you want to invite them to the good.
Yeah,
so they can see. Yeah. My mother's mother, my grandmother, she accepted Islam right before she died.
Really?
She used to rock with us all the time. Everybody in the masjid knew my grandmother. Because she would be there all the time.
Wow. That's amazing.
She would be at the Eids.
You say your mother's mother or your
mother? My mother's mother.
That's dope.
Yep.
MashaAllah, may Allah have mercy on her. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing. Because you get to still pray for it.
Yeah, but we need to get back into those practices.
Absolutely, I agree.
I remember people used to ask if they could come to the Muslim Day at Six Flags.
Right.
I mean, I was like,
of course. Right.
Like,
why not?
Come be around us so you can see what we do. We have fun too. We're not just praying and fasting and whatever.
But we have real fun. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people have to realize, that Muslims have real fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you really think about it,
it's genuine because you don't have to get drunk.
Exactly.
You don't have to get high.
That's why I'm saying it's real, because we don't need
enhancement.
An enhancer to get us to have excitement.
Right.
Like, if we're gonna have fun with each other, it's gonna be real laughs. We're gonna enjoy the moment. We're not there because we want to forget whatever we're and we're drinking. So that's why I call it real fun.
Some other people would be like, no, this is just for the Muslims. And I understand that. But you have some people that are curious.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they might feel intimidated going to the masjid.
Right. And the other thing is, it's our duty to inspire and to educate and to really show what the deen is really about. It's our duty to basically
be a good example.
Be a good example and give da'wah through our processes. But the problem, honestly, I mean, I'm going to give it problem, but then we can get past the problem. The problem is that the Muslims are fighting against each other. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a lot of fighting in-house when that's not necessary. Right. There's so much, but I think we have to identify, and recognize that there's so much dopeness within our own communities that there's nothing to fight about.
Right.
Like, get over yourself, enjoy, live life. Just enjoy it. Yeah. So. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So.
Before the sun sets.
We are running out.
Give me all of your.
We're run out light.
So, where can readers find you on Instagram, Facebook, Are you on YouTube? Give me all that information.
I am on YouTube, but I don't really have a YouTube, so you can find me on Instagram at ADIL_ISMAAEEL.
Hold that book up.
Yeah. Or at mycoofie.com. Or right there. Right there. I know it's a lot. Alright, but right there you can find me. You can get the book at mycoofie.com. There's a Spanish version coming out soon, so if you have family members who speak Spanish, you can get the copy of My Coofie for them. Yeah, there's a workbook out for the My Coofie book. So.
Are you selling Kufis?
I'm not. Actually, I am selling Kufis.
I saw you selling Kufis before.
I'm selling Kufis, but my supplier ran out. COVID. Yeah, so.
Come on, COVID. What about these shirts?
You can get all of it. It's on mycoofie.com or mycoofie at mycoofiebook at mycoofiebook.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you can just hit me up. Instagram. It's just. Yeah, I'm always open. I don't have to. Yeah, whatever. Just hit me up. But yeah. Assalamu alaikum, guys. It's Adil Ismaaeel, author of My Coofie. I want to invite you guys out to a very, very special event taking place October 17th at Philadelphia Masjid off of Lancaster Avenue. Please bring your young guys out there. It's going to be an amazing, amazing experience with doing a My Coofie reading and other fun activities around pride and identity and the importance of pride and identity within our community. So make sure you guys come out, sign up for the event. Limited spacing. I'll see you guys soon. Assalamu alaikum.